You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Hello, I'm Stephen Willis from the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. He is Tom Vanderford. He shows up every Saturday to talk all about Ole Miss football. How you doing, Tommy?
Man, I'm doing great.
Yeah, it's a pretty great day that Mississippi State and Ole Miss and the Egg Bowl got moved to Friday at 2:30 Central on ABC over the air. It's not even going to be an ESPN and cable situation. It's going to be an over-the-air broadcast. This will be probably the biggest audience for a Mississippi State Ole Miss game since 2014, I think.
Yeah, since the
CBS game.
Yeah, CBS game where we actually displaced Alabama Auburn that year and got the CBS game. So that was
and we displaced Mississippi State, if we're going to be honest about
it. With a quarterback with a bum leg and a very thin flex tight end. Yep, and a very small running back.
Yes. Yeah, he's sitting here running as fast as his little legs can take him. And you look at Cody Core, and it looks like he's just trotting beside him, just easy going. And Jalen Walton's just running as hard as he can to try. Oh, my goodness, that was funny.
Yeah, that was awesome. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, but that game on Friday should be a lot of fun. Now, I will say this, and I talked about this on the show yesterday. I am going to miss the Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving. I am one of the people that truly enjoyed the Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving. I like the fact that the game gets over with and then you can enjoy football the rest of the weekend.
Correct. But, I mean, it's kind of a good situation. At least it's on Friday, so we'll have a lot of football to watch on the weekend. But, yeah, I've got a different take. As far as going to the game, I like Florida better. I'm Florida. Of
course.
Yeah, exactly. I like Friday better just for going. I like that 2:30 time slot. I like that it's after the day after we've had all the, when I was a kid, we'd all go to Grandma and Grandpa's house for Thanksgiving. Well, I'm Grandpa and my wife's Grandma. So, we've got that big crowd and we get to do that. And then we could go Friday. So for me, it works out good. As an old guy, I don't like the late time slots as far as going to the games because, I'm driving back to Corinth at 2:00 in the morning. But so for old Tom, it's a wonderful slot to go see the game live. And this year it's in Oxford, so I won't feel like, the enemy as much. So there's a good possibility I'll go. But yeah, they, I don't know. It's, there's some nostalgia for the Thanksgiving Day game, but like you said, it's usually at night. It's usually just on, cable or streaming.
ESPN. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And anytime you can get a game over the airwaves still, you're going to have a lot more people watch it. So, and it's a prime Friday time slot. People wake up, they're eating their leftovers. They're like, hey, there's a game on. Yeah, Ole Miss, State, let's watch it. So it's good for both schools. I really do think that from what I've seen so far, I think Lebby, at least now, is going to be more like a Leach. It seems like him and Lane are getting along, picking on each other a little bit, and maybe there'll be a good rivalry instead of the toxic that existed during the Hugh Freeze and Dan Mullen eras.
The Hugh Freeze and Dan Mullen thing, both of them had such thin skin.
Yeah.
It almost couldn't help but get bad because both of them were like the consummate victim of what was going on. That was just their personality. I don't think Lane Kiffin is going to play that game. He's not the type of person that is going to get overly petty and have the thin skin required for a Dan Mullen, Hugh Freeze situation to start up. So I don't think it necessarily matters what Jeff Lebby does.
I think you're correct. I do think that eventually, if Levy's there long enough, the administration will start trying to push him towards a little bit more toxic rivalry, just because that's been the history, correct? But yeah, Lane Kiffin's not gonna follow that at all. He's a consummate professional. He's an ex-NFL head coach. He's got years of experience. He's from a coaching family, and he's just not in that mold.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. Whenever you're a little brother and you have an inferiority complex, you try to punch up as much as you can. It doesn't matter which walk of life you're in. Mississippi State is doing that as well. By the way, there could be a Locked On Mississippi State before football season right now. I don't want to blow the name and let everybody know what's going out there, but this guy he's pretty good. He's pretty good, and we'll be able to go back and forth and do all the stuff that Ole Miss and Mississippi State can do.
That's cool. I'm glad to see the Locked On network growing. It's come a long way.
Yeah, I think the plan is, I want to say, is an SEC network by Locked On, to where all of the SEC shows, they play them, then they do one of those fast channels that you see all over the place. Yeah, to where it goes over and over again with our national shows and maybe an SEC type show and a recruiting show or something like that. And they'll all be SEC as competing with the Disney brand.
Right. That's awesome.
But now we'll have all 16. Once you count Texas and Oklahoma, 16 broadcasters. The last one was Locked On Mississippi State.
That's awesome. That is plumb awesome, man. So the future's bright for Locked On. That's wonderful.
Yes. In 10 years, I'm just going to be honest about this. In 10 years' time, we are going to be the standard in college football coverage. It's going to be me and a whole bunch of people like me covering college football. And these old fogies and all that, they're going to be shown the door.
What a dream job, brother.
It should be really, really cool. But hey, that also changed that Ole Miss and Wake Forest, that time got announced. It's going to be at 6:30. It's on the CW. And I said yesterday, it's a flashback to JP Sports. I want the three Daves calling the game. I want Bob that head from Rascal Flats. If we're going to JP this, let's JP this.
I love it. I absolutely love it. That game's at Wake, right?
Right.
Yeah. I absolutely love it. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun, but there's so many jokes that I've made. I spent all of Friday or Thursday morning on Twitter making jokes about, hey, the Ole Miss Wake Forest game is going to be in between the Flash and Dawson's Creek runs, and the new episode of Walker. Well, will Wake Forest protect the city against Florida State? I had all kinds of fun with the CW.
Goodness, what a mess! But I'll be here watching it if I'm still ticking.
Yeah. At least it's on TV. Yeah, I mean, it is a broadcast channel. It is over the air, but
exactly.
So before we get to the top 5 list, Matthew Morrell is returning to Ole Miss. I know we don't talk basketball very much, but that one's worth it because he was pretty much the best player on Ole Miss's team. Yep. Ole Miss has 3 players that at the high major level last year averaged over 15 points, and I don't think that can be ignored.
Nope, and that's what I love about Chris Beard. He went out and he kind of felt his way through his first SEC season with the roster he had, and he knows what he needs. He went out and got it. He went out and got big guys that can move and shoot and that can rebound, and that should be a positive development. I know, like you said, we don't talk basketball a lot, but I did notice that a lot of people are predicting us to make the dance next year, so that's good.
Thanks again for making Locked On Ole Miss your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast. When we come back, Tommy gets on the hot seat. Top 5 Ole Miss wins all time. Tommy's going to answer those questions for you. But first, Gametime is the place to get your NBA Finals tickets. They have killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seats, and the lowest price guarantee. Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets. Views from all the seats in the venue, lowest price guarantee, event cancellation, job loss protection. They have potentially the best customer service in the business. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Again, terms apply. Create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Also, it's winner take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a pretty big win of your own. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. Right now, the over-under for Ole Miss this football season is at 9.5, if that is your flavor of choice. If you want something a little bit more granular, you can get Jackson Dart at plus 1,500 to win the Heisman Trophy. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, it's America's #1 sportsbook. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day and you have to turn down the volume with all of that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you each and every single day to bring you the biggest stories without all of that screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Fire TV Channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, Tommy is on the hot seat. It is the top Ole Miss football victories of all time. The way we do this, we count it down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And Tommy's going to let us know what happened and why he's picking it. We're going to start out with number 5, Tom. Go ahead.
Number 5, and you'll have to excuse me. I haven't had time to look these years up. But number 5 is when John Vaught took the Ole Miss Rebels and beat Maryland.
52.
And put Ole Miss on the football map. That's number 5 for me. Number 4 is when we beat Florida at Florida the year they won the national championship, made Tebow cry. And that was wonderful. Kentrell Lockett, if you're watching, blocking that extra point life as well. So that was number 4. Number 3, I think it was 1977.
Notre Dame.
Rebels beat Notre Dame in Jackson. Notre Dame went on to win the national championship that year. So that gets us to number 3. I have a 2A, B, and C. I hope you don't mind.
That's fine.
That's John Darnell and company beating Alabama at Alabama. And, of course, 2014 and 2015 beating Alabama. I really enjoyed that. So number, what am I down to? Number 1, right? That's what I thought. I don't remember the year, but it was the year we had a rematch with LSU after Billy Cannon's run, and we
that would have been the 60 Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, we whooped them in the Sugar Bowl. That's number 1. And I apologize to everybody out there. My brain housing group's not doing too good on the years right now, but that's my top 5.
Okay, so let's do some honorable mentions. The Mule Game, 1969, Ole Miss and Tennessee.
Oh, definitely. Archie who?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of the game that made Archie Manning, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And let's see, obviously the Alabama stuff, we talked about that earlier. Florida made the list. LSU last year was just a fun game. It might not have been one of the greatest victories.
I loved it. If we had a top 10, that would be in it. And if we had a top 10, the year that State, 2014 had a chance to play in the first playoff, and we beat them in Oxford with, a guy with a quarterback with a bad ankle and,
skinny tight end and a little bitty running back.
Sir?
A skinny tight end and a little bitty running back.
Exactly. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. So there are so many wonderful things and games, but it was really hard for me to pick 5. But there we go. Actually, I didn't, because I had a 2 A, B, C, and D, or A and B and C. But
hey, on my list Thursday, I'd put both of the Alabama wins in 14 and 15 together. So I did the same thing.
Same thing. Yeah. Well, and I had to throw my old childhood friend John a bone there and put that. That was the first time we actually beat Alabama at Tuscaloosa ever.
That was the brick through the window.
Yeah. Poor old Curry, man.
The John Darnell a game against Georgia, the catch by Reed Hines to beat the Georgia Bulldogs.
Wonderful. Ice water in his veins, man.
Good stuff. Thank you for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team, every single day. Tom Vanderford joins the show this Saturday, like every Saturday. And thank you, Tom. What do you got planned for this weekend?
Man, I tell you, I'm getting used to this new job. I'm off. I work 4/10, so I'm off every Friday now. So, I'm just enjoying life. But yeah, probably hang out with my granddaughter, that's been on the show before. And everybody out there, please pray for her. She lost one of her siblings this morning. She passed away. And so please be saying prayers for Daya and her family.
Will do. And you take care, Tom. And if you need anything, let me know, bud.
Hey, yeah, same here, buddy. Take care. Hotty toddy.